Good morning to everybody, and welcome to this session on systemic approaches to make the most of the technologies within society and industry. My name is Iiro Erola. I am a policy officer in the Unit for Valorization Policy and IPR in DG Research and Innovation. Next slide, please. We will continue on the destination for human-centered and ethical development of digital and industrial technologies. And this session will cover 6 topics. And can we have the slide for the 6 topics? So these topics include support for awareness raising on intellectual property management, standardization, testing innovative solutions in local communities, industry academia knowledge exchange, assessment of workforce skills requirements for industry, and promoting art-driven design. So next slide. So the aim of this session is to give you the possibility to ask questions on these topics. So you can enter via Slido and you can see the Slido link. We will focus on the contents of these topics. So for general questions related to proposal submission and evaluation, as well as dissemination, exploitation, and communication, please refer to the relevant webinars. So next slide, please. So without further ado, we start the Q&A. So we first take questions to the topics on IP management and standardization. So these are topics number 0117 and 0118. So you can now start entering your questions in Slido, and please indicate also the topic number in your questions. And while we collect the questions for these 2 topics, we run the voiceover slides for these 2 topics.
This is the topic on awareness raising on intellectual property management for European research and innovation actors. The EU's new industrial strategy aims for Europe to lead the next wave of technology-based innovations, transforming scientific breakthroughs into world-leading companies. To achieve technological sovereignty in critical technology areas, the management of intellectual property, from the very early stages of knowledge creation process to the final deployment of solutions, it's key. IP management is considered one of the main challenges facing valorization of knowledge and research. Better awareness of appropriate IP management enables transforming R&I results into groundbreaking technological solutions and enhances open innovation ecosystems. The action will address the need to increase awareness and knowledge on intellectual property management. It will build the bridge between technology generation and technology upscaling via IP management awareness. It will address the knowledge generators, early career researchers, entrepreneurs in the making, etc., regardless of their gender, age, or background. The action will include an awareness campaign, as well as specific activities to support academia, research institutions, and SMEs on the management and valorization of IP to demonstrate public value. The action will not overlap or duplicate existing initiatives, but should build on them, signpost them, and maximize the impact, as well as seek synergies with major European-level intellectual property actors. The expected outcomes are to increase awareness among knowledge generators of the importance of the generation, protection, management, and use of IP for the development of key technologies and achieving sovereignty in strategic value chains, to make stronger open innovation ecosystems by providing guidance and best practice examples on how to use the intellectual property, and to increase and optimize use of intellectual assets to promote innovation with high value to the European economy and society. The EU contribution per project will be around €1 million. The indicative budget for this call is €1 million, and the type of action is a coordination and support action.
There is an untapped potential for R&I projects to make use of the standardization system. Both the European Green Deal and a new industrial strategy for Europe calls for developing new standards. Standard setting have a strong leverage effect, especially if it is coupled with increased EU participation in international standardization bodies. This will be essential to boost the industry's competitiveness and build a sustainable and more inclusive future. This action is a coordination and support action aimed at promoting cooperation between legal entities from member states and associated countries. The primary aim of this action is, firstly, to identify obstacles hampering standardization efforts of research generators, and secondly, offering solutions to foster standardization as means of knowledge valorization. All this through the engagement with relevant standardization bodies. More specifically, the action will create an interface to facilitate networking between the beneficiaries and national, European and international standardization bodies. This joint network will help the valorization of EU-funded research results and promote the discussion between R&I and standardization. This interface will be a one-stop shop for all related matters.
Okay, so now I will invite colleagues Veronica Benitez Pinero and Kerko Tardos to answer to the questions. So far we have received questions related to the standardization topic. So what is the expected size and duration of the project? Can single entities apply? And if yes, will they be competing against multi-entity proposals? So this is for you, Kerko.
Yeah, many thanks, Ira. Good morning, everyone. So it is estimated that the total indicative budget for this project is 1 million euros, and in general there is no expectation on the number of entities in a consortium, or which should be, of course, fit for purpose. It has to ensure that the efficient implementation strategy of the planned coordination and support actions and the expected impacts are met. Applicants can vary in a wide range, from standard development organizations to research and technology organizations, universities, private companies, SMEs or industrial partners, but even innovation agencies, etc. The project may benefit from being addressed by a consortium that engage with high-level experts in standardization, able to support Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe project beneficiaries.
Thank you, Kerko. Let's continue on the same topic. So, what is the aim of the topic?
Well,
very briefly.
Yeah, this is as it was mentioned in the introduction. This is a coordination and support action, and the overall objective is to identify obstacles hampering standardization efforts of research generators, and it should offer solutions to foster standardization as a means of knowledge valorization.
Okay, and then the last question, when will it start, and are more details available still related to this topic, Kerko?
Well, the closing date of the call is in October, more precisely on the 21st of October. And the standard process for the time to grant is 8 months. So as an indication, the evaluation is normally closed after 5 months after the call closure. So this is potentially the time when the grant agreement can be started to put together. Of course, it is also up to the winning beneficiary or applicant when it starts the projects after the signature of the grant agreement.
Thank you, Kerko. Let's then jump to the other topic. So for Veronica, so topic on IP management. Can national property offices participate in this topic?
So, hello, good morning, and thank you for this event. Yes, I mean, the idea is that we welcome proposals that come from all kind. It makes sense within the consortium, and it comes from universities, public organizations, private organizations, companies. So yes, there is not exclusion of national intellectual property offices to participate within the consortium. It's possible. Yes.
Thank you, Veronica. Still with the same topic 17. What is the expected duration?
We didn't want to set a duration on stone. We didn't want to set the time frame because we think that it has to make sense with the proposal that will be submitted. The ideal duration that we are thinking sometimes something between 2 and 3 years, but there is not a time set. It has to make sense within the proposal put forward and within the budget, within this 1 million euros.
Thank you. And to Veronica as well, what is the exact expectation on building on existing initiatives? Is involvement of these initiatives required? And this is the last question.
We all know that there are specific initiatives related to intellectual property that have already been funded, but this has another scope. We have realized that there has to be an awareness raising from the very early stages of knowledge management and knowledge generation, as it's explained in the scope. So the idea of this initiative is really to go into the world of the early stages of the knowledge generation in a proactive way. It is not expected that the other initiatives are involved, but it is expected that the applicant will look at the other initiatives and will be able to map this initiative within the already existing initiatives in terms of IP services. And be aware that this focus on awareness raising. So yes, it makes sense, and it has a sense within the whole scope of existing initiatives. You have to be aware and demonstrate that this is not going to overlap the things that are already in place.
Thank you very much, Veronica. So it's time to move on now. So we move to next two topics, and these are CSA topics which focus on the demand side for innovative solutions. So we will now focus on the topics Human 0119, testing innovative solutions on local communities' demand, and Human 0120, piloting new industry academia knowledge exchange focusing on companies' needs. So you can start sending in your questions, but let's first run the voice over slides.
Testing innovative solutions on local communities' demand. This activity is about matching local communities' needs with research results and knowledge coming from research, and co-creating and testing the innovative solutions in these communities across Europe. The core concept is this: collecting and then matching needs of cities and local communities with a supply of possible solutions from research results, and then testing these solutions in real environments, so the cities and the local communities. Accordingly, the main beneficiaries of this action will be the participating cities and local communities, together with the research and business partners involved in the testing of the innovative solutions. There is also a very important aspect of facilitating the sharing of experiences and lessons learned across Europe. The outcomes of this activity are expected to be, first of all, increased societal uptake of new technologies and knowledge-based solutions because of the better understanding of societal needs and higher societal acceptance. So there is a strong citizen engagement aspect in this topic, as you can see also in the text. Second, increased place-based innovation and experimentation through the testing of up to 100 innovative new solutions in partnership with cities and local communities, as well as research and industry. This number of 100 innovative new solutions is clearly indicative and corresponds also to the indicative budget of the topic. Finally, increased innovation capacity across Europe because of the new models of co-creation and the exchange of good practices and learning from this experimentation. So it is clear that local communities can have different needs and require different innovative solutions, but at the same time there is a need to share the experiences and the lessons learned across Europe. The consortium may provide financial support to third parties, and the grants could be up to 60,000 euros each. The indicative budget of the topic is 5 million, and it is expected to finance one project.
This topic is a CSA for piloting new industry academia knowledge exchange focusing on companies' needs. The aim here is to develop and pilot a standard collaboration module that will support short-term co-creation teams of students, researchers and companies' own R&D personnel. These co-creation teams will be established to solve companies' research, innovation and business challenges. This module will take care of finding the most suitable, skilled and motivated students and researchers and to form co-creation teams on ad hoc basis to tackle the particular challenge of the company. This module will provide professional guidance and facilitation to the teams to help them solve the defined challenges within a period from 4 to 8 weeks. The applicants should elaborate how they will develop the activity in coordination with the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. It's also defined that the minimum number of co-creation teams to be supported is 300, and that the students and researchers in each co-creation team must come from at least 3 EU member states or associated countries. And these co-creation teams must be gender balanced. These actions should also ensure participation of companies across the EU and associated countries, with a particular emphasis on the widening countries. In this topic, beneficiaries may provide financial support to third parties in the form of grants, and in that case, the applicants need to describe the conditions for submission, evaluation and selection of proposals from third parties. I will now invite my colleague Ifigenia Potaki to answer to the questions with me. So let's start from the topic Human 0119. So can local governing bodies and local universities apply jointly? And is there an option that this is done only within one country? This is for you, Ifigenia.
Yes, good morning. Yes. The question would refer to the consortium application. So, of course, the consortium can be built up by entities from one member state. And the application of universities and local governing bodies together is very much in scope of this action. So I can maybe directly take the next one.
Yes, please.
So why is it a CSA and not an innovation action? It is a CSA because the idea here is for the consortium to manage the matching of the needs from the local communities and the researchers, and to manage the grants who will test the innovative solutions. So it has a 100% funding rate, so that the consortium can manage the financing to third parties, and at the same time manage the other activities which are involved in this, which refer specifically to facilitating the exchange of lessons learned and good experiences across Europe. Have I missed now one question here?
There is one question. What is the definition of local communities?
Yes, that's a very good question. The definition of local communities is really one that is quite open. It includes communities which might be a neighborhood in a city. It can be a rural community. So the idea of the local communities are geographically defined communities which are at the local level, but this can include cities and as well as rural communities. It's quite open. I think there is no other question at the moment for this topic. And I think you have one.
Yeah, so let's move to the Human 0120. So can students from universities of applied sciences participate in the co-creation teams? So first of all, one has to understand that the CSA is to develop and pilot a module which will support these co-creation teams with students, researchers, and companies' own personnel. So then when this CSA is up and running, then the students, researchers, and companies can apply for participating in such teams. So they cannot apply directly to this CSA topic. So, but the answer to this question is yes. So students from universities of applied sciences can apply. The topic description refers to students in higher education institutes. Next question is also to the same topic. So will co-creation teams allow students from US and Asia to participate? Well, in this topic, the expected outcome refers to enhanced use of the European pool of talents and skills, and also it defines that the students and researchers must come from at least 3 EU member states or associated countries. And there's also a reference to geographically balanced coverage of co-creation teams. So in conclusion, having students and researchers from US and Asia would not be really in line with the spirit of this topic, but the exception is students and researchers from EU member states or associated countries who work or study in third countries like US or in Asia. Yes, there is another question. Is it mandatory to involve the EIT KICs? If so, is there an indicative number how many KIC areas should be covered? So the answer is that no, it's not mandatory to involve EIT KICs, but the applicants and the proposal should show how they will do this activity in coordination and synergy with the activities of EIT KICs in order to ensure complementarity of this activity with the EIT KICs. Maybe we jump back to Human 0119. So
Yes, so we have another question about the scope of this action being a coordination and support action. And indeed, there is co-creation in bringing together the communities with the researchers and running the testing of the innovative solutions. But the consortium which will manage this action will have to be a coordination and support action, so that they manage the preparation, the matching, the sharing of experiences, and the grants themselves. So that there is a 100% funding for the consortium to manage this.
Thank you, Ifi. We can take then the question related to Human 0120. Can researchers and students in UK participate in the co-creation teams? So the answer is yes. So with the transitional arrangements in place, UK can already participate in the calls. So also researchers and students will be eligible for participation in the co-creation teams. There is one question related to Human 0119. Can one participant from associated country send a proposal? If Kenya, would this be clear? You are muted.
Sorry about this. Yes, the normal rules which apply for any coordination and support action apply also to this call. So the rules are defined based on a legal entity in a member state or associated state. There is nothing special about this coordination support action with respect to the eligibility of associated countries.
And then the last question, it's for you, Ifi, as well. Where do these innovative solutions come from?
The innovative solutions are co-created in the grants. So the idea is that on the one hand, we have the needs of the citizens and the communities, and these needs can be addressed through the development of innovative solutions which are based on research results. So by bringing together researchers and communities, we can co-create innovative solutions which are tested then at the communities level.
Thank you. And then the last question is related to topic 0120. What is the exact definition of the co-creation teams, collaboration between companies and students, anything beyond? So basically the definition of the co-creation teams in this context is defined in the topic description. So it is these teams of higher education institute students, researchers, and company-owned personnel who work together for a short period of time to solve the problems, challenges related to company R&I or business challenges. So the definition is found in the topic description. Okay, so now it is time to move on. So we go to the next topic, which is workforce skills for Industry 5.0. So we will have a colleague Nicholas Deliyanakis to take the questions, but before that, let's first run the voiceover slide for this topic. So, and you can start entering your questions at the same time.
The next topic is Human 26, Workforce Skills for Industry 5.0. This is for a research and innovation action around 5 million euros. The fourth industrial revolution, involving the automation of traditional industry, is improving productivity and leading to new business models. However, this is accompanied by social, economic and organizational challenges, human issues. These include income inequalities, the availability and quality of jobs, and so on. So, with this project, we want to look at the nature of job transformations, the human side, in the context of the fourth industrial revolution. This is what we call Industry 5.0. We want to establish an Industry 5.0 platform for future skill requirements. We are also looking for guidance and recommendations, including avenues for new learning and training systems, to reduce skills gaps, including soft skills, to cope with possible unemployment effects, to foster industrial competitiveness, and to be more inclusive. The work should include cultural, ethical, and regional perspectives, so it will be essential in this project to have contributions of the social sciences and humanities, experts as well as institutions. Their insights should be combined with those of industry leaders, regional players, and social partners. Also, social innovation will play a role as social change and new social practices are potentially involved. Several dimensions should be explored: job nature and skills, including the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, labor productivity, employment and mobility, quality of work, new forms of work, and so on. The project should of course be able to build on a large body of existing work, including from previous projects.
Okay, so currently we don't have any questions related to this topic. So, Nicolas, would you like to add anything on the voiceover?
Thank you, Eero. It is good to see that this topic appears to be clear. What I might add is that I want to stress that this topic is a research and innovation action. It may superficially look like a coordination and support action, but if you look at the scope, you will see that it needs some research and indeed innovation. That is why it is an RIA, and that is an important feature. So it has some elements of a coordination and support action in terms of the outputs, but it actually involves research and innovation. Thank you. I see that there are still no questions, so maybe we can move to the next.
Nicolas, now we have one question. So, expected recommendations, learning systems should be tested. What kind of KPIs should we measure for this?
Yes, of course, this project is not expected to solve the problem single-handedly. So we want scalable solutions. Incidentally, we ask for a similar output in some of the mainstream topics in manufacturing through the business cases and exploitation plans. So in this case, we want to have recommendations or even better systems that have been tested to some extent, but can be scaled up. So there are no key performance indicators here because this project cannot do that on its own. But we do expect to have recommendations and solutions that can be taken over elsewhere, including with support from the European Social Fund that we outlined yesterday in the session on synergies.
Thank you, Nicolas. There is another question for you. Are there technological elements, or is it only social science?
No, it's not only social sciences. There are technological elements, for example, learning technologies. Incidentally, there are other topics on specifically on learning technologies, including in cluster 2, I believe. But no, this is not only social science. Of course, it will work best if mainstream industry is also involved.
Thank you, Nikos. Another question. Could it be interesting to involve competencies from psychology to assess skills?
More certainly, yes. There is a general reference to social sciences and humanities, and indeed psychology is a key discipline here.
Okay, if we don't have any more questions, we will move on. So we will then take the topic on, this is Human 0121, art-driven use experiments and design. You can start submitting questions related to that, and I will invite the colleagues Ralph Doom and Peter Fries from DC Connect then to take the Q&A related to this topic after the voice-over video.
This is a very brief presentation of the call Art-Driven Use Experiments and Design. I am Ralph Doom. Me and my colleague Peter Fries are in charge of this call, and we are of course available for further information. I would like to point out that we have set up a website on a dedicated page of the START initiative where we will post further information and in particular post frequently asked questions. STARTS, Science, Technology and the Arts, is an initiative of DG Connect that is running since, roughly speaking, 5 years with different pillars, 4 of which are shown on the slide. And the idea is that innovation, a European approach to innovation, should be rooted in values and in culture, and in particular in the arts. And we have been promoting this now since quite some time, and this call is part of this initiative. The activities envisaged by this call are in the spirit of the STARTS Lighthouse pilots, elaborate in one or more of the sectors identified in the call, concrete challenges to which artists jointly with end users, stakeholders, can help propose concrete solutions. Here the important thing is the emphasis on concrete challenges and concrete solutions, and the emphasis on joint collaborations of artists and engineers. As part of projects financed in this call, you should also launch calls for artistic residencies, for so-called STARTS residencies. On the one hand for artists, on the other hand, and this is new, also for artist SME teams. Important to follow and mentor these residencies so they contribute to the overall goals as you have presented them in your proposal. The third aspect is new, provide access for artists to cutting-edge technology so they can reflect on novel uses and on impact on society. This access is provided either by the consortium itself or the consortium facilitates access. What is the expected outcomes? There's, roughly speaking, 4 of them. Art-driven design of disruptive products and services respecting the human dimension. In other words, digital or other technologies that respect the needs, the values, and the sensitivities of the human user. Second, art-driven adoption of digital technologies in industry and society. You know we still have a problem with uptake of digital in Europe, and part of the ideas or the expected outcomes of this call is also that art can help in alleviating the tensions that arise when, for example, a workforce is confronted with new types of digital technologies. Think of robots. Third, end users, be it industry, SMEs, or regional authorities, in the identified sectors start to team up with the arts to tackle social and ecological challenges. So the arts as integral partners in any attempt to further issues of sustainability or social inclusion. Third, art-driven design increases trust in and acceptance of digital technologies in society. Think of AI. AI very often poses the problem that human users do not understand AI and the way it functions, and here there's a need for explanation, and very often artists are the persons who can help in this respect. A very brief statement about the budget. We expect to fund 3 projects, so we expect that each project, roughly speaking, is asking for 2.85 million euros. Important that in all these projects, at least 400k euros are spent on artists for starts residencies and on artists SME bears. 800k euros are spent. For artists, we foresee, roughly speaking, 40,000 for SME artists bears, 80,000 euros per residency. This is all. I would like to remind you that we have this dedicated web page set up, which I mentioned at the beginning, and I stop here. Thank you.
Okay, so now we have questions related to this last topic. So these go to Ralph and Peter. So the first question is, being a research and innovation action, is a real industrial use case required?
Industrial use cases are one way of showing pertinence, and indeed we expect to have industry involved in the use cases that are addressed by the starts residencies and by the SME artist pairs that we finance. But we could also imagine use cases that apply to regional development, for example, or use cases that involve public bodies.
Okay, thank you, Ralph. This is a research and innovation action, not the CSA. Are there any specific relationship with extended reality or any specific technologies?
Well, one of the key aspects of STARTS is that digital technologies are used by artists in order to propose solutions in the indicated sector. So extended reality is one of these digital technologies that we address. We address in particular artificial intelligence, but in essence, all digital technologies.
Thank you,
This
Ralph.
is a RIA and not a CSA, because indeed we want concrete solutions, and also the consortium is supposed to contribute results, not only the residencies that we fund.
Okay, the next question is, which key strategic objectives is this call aiming to reach?
Well, the key strategic objective of this call is to advance the notion that creativity is an important aspect in European innovation, and it is part of this attempt of a new innovation policy in Europe to bring in culture and the arts in all our innovation activities. To some extent, this is a way to distinguish Europe from China and US, where these aspects of culture and values are perhaps less addressed than in Europe.
Thank you, Ralph. The next one is there any relationship with the new European Bauhaus initiative?
Well, indeed, the spirit of the new European Bauhaus is similar to START's in the sense that the new European Bauhaus wants to promote technologies and activities towards the Green Deal via inclusion of the arts. This is one aspect of the new European Bauhaus. In this respect, there's a similar strategy involved, even though the Bauhaus is more about the building substance in Europe, where STARTS is more about innovation in digital and in biotechnologies. So the spirit is the same, but perhaps the application area is slightly different.
Thank you, Ralph. The next one is it recommended to include directly in the consortium artistic bodies?
Artistic bodies in the sense of art institutions that could provide a link to artists, yes. But the artists themselves, the idea is to fund them via the STARTS residencies or via third-party funding. So indeed, it would be recommended to have institutions involved that can help in establishing the link between art and industry and art and technology. And there's quite a few of them in Europe.
Thank you, Ralph. The next one is the focus on designing products or making arts experiments, for example, similarly to START's vertical residency?
Well, STARTS has different pillars, and one of these pillars is STARTS residencies, and indeed STARTS residencies have the idea of helping engage collaboration between art and technology, between artists and engineers. In this respect, there is a similar spirit, even though in the present call we insist more than in STARTS residencies on concrete outcomes.
The next one is it powerful to focus the actions on a specific topic, or is it better to apply an art-driven action to different topics within the proposal?
This is a pertinent question. I don't want to give an answer. The consortium in the proposal have to make a case how they can contribute to the idea to make concrete use of art engineer collaborations. This could be by focusing on one topic, or this could be by having a variety of topics. The disadvantage of one topic is that it's perhaps too narrow. The advantage of one topic is that indeed perhaps you could make a more concrete contribution to a given area. I remind you, we have 5 areas: mobility, urbanism, health, agriculture, energy, and space. So it might make sense to focus on one area, but it also is totally possible to focus on a couple of areas. The important thing is to not simply continue what you have been doing in a given area. There must be a clear understanding why and in which way artists can contribute to the solutions in the given area.
Thank you, Ralph. The next one is it recommended also to involve citizens as end users?
It's not excluded, but it's not necessary. Certainly stakeholders, end users in the given areas, for example, if you think of urbanism, there certainly is the idea that one of the reasons why art can be of interest is because it helps involving citizens in urban planning, for example.
Thank you, Ralph. So currently I don't see any further questions in Slido. So it's time to close the session. So thank you very much for the audience, for your questions, active participation. And thank you very much for the colleagues for answering to the questions. And many thanks also to Claudia for managing the Slido, and also for the technical room for running the show. So we take a break now. Have a nice day and see you later.